Hey, welcome back, and in this, the first of a series of videos about using off-grid energy at home, I'll be covering the basics of what you need to start your journey in cutting your reliance on grid energy. So if you've clicked on this video, you're likely to be in the same position that I am and many others in the UK in the fact that your energy prices have gone through the roof. So I plan on sharing my experiences and the things that I've tried and tested to reduce my own energy consumption to see if it can benefit you. So the first and most obvious option I've got available is actually to turn things down or switch things off. The second option, and the one that I'm going to concentrate on, is using off-grid energy. So that's currently made up for me of using solar power and some kind of battery storage system. So that could be solar generators or portable power stations as well as batteries in their own right. And the third option is actually finding energy at a cheaper price, storing it and then using it at a later date. So one thing that I've noticed about my own behaviour since the UK energy prices went up so much is the fact that every time I go to switch on a switch or plug something in, I'm thinking now, how can I do that without using grid energy? So this has provided me with the focus, and it may work for you as well, in the fact that when you go to do a task that consumes energy, so that's gas or electricity, so it might be turning on a light, watching a TV programme, listening to some music, or even doing some cooking or cleaning, in the fact that could you do that using off-grid energy? So again, this goes in degrees of, so it just depends on the type of appliances you want to run and for how long. Starting with the basics, what you need to understand is how much your appliances or devices consume. So you can do this by looking in the owner's manual, you can do this by looking at the labels that are attached to power bricks or on the back of devices or appliances, and they will give you an idea of how much they consume when they're being used. So you need to start with this to get an understanding really of how big you need your off-grid system for what you want to run. So the bigger the system, the bigger the cost usually, and the more that you can actually save when the sun is shining. But the other thing that's worth noting is the fact that if you already have some kind of portable power station or a solar generator, for example, or if you're already in the camping set and you already have this stuff set up in your camper, caravan, or any other kind of vehicle that you have when you're going off grid, you already have this covered. So it's just basically working out how you can get that solar power into the mix to actually make it a workable solution. This is all great if you have access to solar or somewhere to put your solar panels, but what happens if you don't? So this is where option 3 comes into the mix. So if you can find a cheaper electricity rate, you can store up that power and then use it when electricity is expensive. So kind of cutting your grid usage, but using it with cheaper electricity. Now I understand this isn't an option in every case as well, and where the UK market is now tied down quite heavily, that won't actually be a viable option if you're just going to look out for it now. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be continuing my investigation to things like what's on screen at the moment to see if there are retail opportunities that people can actually purchase, maybe not now, but maybe in the future, to try and bridge that gap so you can still get solar power where you couldn't have it before. Another option that kind of expands on option 3 is charging while you're on the move. So if you regularly travel on business or for leisure, you could charge up your portable power while you're going from A to B. Now I've been contacted by a few viewers on this one already, and it's not really one that I would recommend due to the fact that it still costs in terms of environment and fuel. But if you did want to do this and you had to do it, then that is a potential option for you. So when it comes to flicking the switch and turning the lights on the ceiling, that is actually using grid energy, and some of those lights can remain on for many hours at a time. And again, it'd be a good idea if you could understand the kind of wattages the bulbs have, and then you can add up and figure out how much that would use and how much you consume on a normal day. So no matter how big or small your battery system is, you've got a pretty good chance of being able to run lights that plug directly into the mains, as in via a normal main socket. So once you've got those, you can actually plug them into your portable power and run those instead. So it could be a stand lamp, a reading lamp or something like that. As long as you have a plug attached to it, you can normally hook it up to battery systems or portable power. But it gets better than that as well. If you want to get some kind of ambient lighting as well, you can use 12-volt strip lights. So they normally come with a little power brick, but you can also plug those directly into power stations as well and use just off of normal DC power. So meaning you don't have to run an inverter, which effectively takes DC power from the batteries and turns it into grid power. you have actually a more efficient way just to use it directly from DC. So I'm just putting up an example now of where I demonstrated that in one of my previous videos. And in this video, I'm just showing you how you can actually basically just take out the power brick, so save yourself some watts, and still run the lighting strip without any problems. So running lighting strips or LED lighting strips is a great way to add ambient light to any room, and it's a lot cheaper than you would expect. So one important lesson I've learnt in my off-grid journey is using pass-through charging. So this is where you can charge up a battery or portable power system whilst discharging or using that to power devices. So even on sunny days when all my batteries are full, I'm still leaving the solar panels attached and running and charging as much as I can while the sun is shining. So that at the end of the day, I've still got a full charge to run things overnight or when I need to use them off grid. So this is a really important lesson I've learned, and honestly it just gives you that extra power and stops using grid energy as much as possible. The final thing I wanted to share as part of this video, and there'll be more of this stuff coming up in the upcoming series, is the fact that the weather report is now my best friend, because this gives me the opportunity to plan how much power I keep in reserve to cover backup power situations, so if the grid actually goes down, but also gives me the opportunity to keep running the appliances that I want to run and charge the devices when I don't get sunny days. So the weather report is your best friend, and it's something that you should really consider for whatever setup you have. We hope you found this video useful, and our thanks to those viewers that have already contacted us and asked questions and also helped shape the content that's been shared in this particular video. So if you do have any comments, questions, or you need help or advice on your off-grid journey, or even just saving using grid power, please add a comment or a question in the section below, or contact us via our social media links, which are also in the link in the description below. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned to DADvinci.